Now we're going to do a quick rundown of some troubleshooting procedures. There's a new menu under the three-line hamburger menu, and then down towards the bottom there's settings. And then in here are a few useful tools. Sync current time is useful, just in case maybe you're dealing with a crossing into a different time zone or daylight savings or something like that, where the time isn't correct on the controllers itself. That will take the current time on your device and it will force it to the controller to clear up any of those timing issues. Generally, the backup battery does a pretty good job of keeping the time that it was set up from your phone, but there's instances where it changes. The other thing you can use, we talked about the only BLE mode. If you have a gateway, the only BLE mode, switching that on will bypass the gateway and will communicate via Bluetooth to the control mesh network and allow you to control things that way. Otherwise, on the bottom under installer tools, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Command center, that's one of those things that we'll walk you through if you need it. There's the gateway command center, which is brand new. This is very handy. This will show you a list of all of the gateways in the area, which is generally just one. So you can see mine just popped up on the screen there. So I can highlight it, and then from here, I can update the BSP. I can get the version numbers for things. I can do a little bit more updates. Updating our own BSP is huge. Before we had to enlist the help of the Mesh Tech guys, and it wasn't something that any of us could do on site. So this is a definite benefit, but it'll tell us a little bit more information about this. And again, we can walk you through this if this is something that you need to do, but at least you kind of understand what it is and what it does. We also have the sync to server. Occasionally, if there's any sort of miscommunication between the controller network and your account, that will kind of rectify the differences between what it has and what it thinks it should have and kind of force that replication. Let's see, what else do we usually use here? Another one that we oftentimes use is the delete all schedules. We kind of consider this the thermonuclear approach to fixing schedules. Every once in a while, especially if you've got a gateway where maybe you program it before you get the gateway and then you add the gateway and then there's two schedules and they trigger at different times and you can't figure out what's going on. Generally, if things are turning on and off at weird times and running a recognizable pattern, it's usually what we call a ghost schedule. And the delete all schedules nukes schedules like at the hardware level, so then you can go back and reapply them at the app level. So it's kind of a cleanup in case your clients got a little overzealous with schedules and that kind of thing. Let's see what else we got. You can check the clock. That just makes sure that it's all happy. Repair gateway tunnel. Occasionally you use that one. If your gateway is offline, it doesn't hurt to try tapping that one and see if it'll reconnect and rebuild that tunnel. You can reboot a gateway remotely, which is kind of handy. You can sync schedules. The other one I like is this check connection strength at the bottom here. What that'll do is it'll give you an RSSI value, which is the relative signal strength indicator, between the device you have selected and your phone or tablet. So right now, Roofline 1 I know is my controller. So I'm going to highlight the controller and hit next. And I can tell that I am right on the fringe of a usable signal because my controller is actually upstairs in my garage. So right now you can see that it just fell offline. It's negative 89. That's a horrible signal. You should not put your gateway here. And that's generally what I use this connection strength indicator for. I'll place it where I want to possibly put the gateway, and I'll see what that number says. Obviously, if you've got a green box and you're in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you're good. It'll start to give you a yellow box where it's and then it'll give you a signal like this to tell you that this is not an ideal place to put a gateway. So very handy. It'll also help you with multi-controller networks and figuring out where you might need to have a repeater, or if your components in your network are in fact able to communicate. So it's a pretty good indication. It's not perfect because the Bluetooth on your phone really isn't as strong as the controller to controller, but at least it'll give you a solid ballpark. So we hit done. Go back. The other one on here, if you have a gateway, down on the bottom, you'll see update lights via gateway. So if there's a firmware version that rolls out and you have remote clients, we can push the firmware update to the controllers at your client site over the gateway. But again, you do have to have a gateway, but this allows you the ability to remote firmware update. Very handy. So those are the majority of the troubleshooting and user or and installer tools in here.